Dear friends, today we will just try to learn the provisions under the Income Tax Act 1961 with regard to the treatment of agriculture income in India. Under the provisions of Income Tax Act, the agriculture income earned in India is exempted from income tax under subsection 1 of section 10. Agriculture income is not included in the total income of the assessee, nor any tax is imposed on it. However, in certain cases, in respect of certain assessees, the amount of agriculture income may be considered for calculating or for determining the tax liability of the individual, more particularly when that individual earns non-agriculture income and agriculture income both. So in that way, the agriculture income is added in his non-agriculture income so that the tax liability may be assessed. Otherwise, the agriculture income is exempt under section 10, subsection 1 of section 10. This agriculture income is exempt due to the fact that as per our Constitution of India has given exclusive power to the state governments to make the laws in respect of levy of income tax on the agriculture income. So, under the Income Tax Act 1961, the agriculture income is totally exempted. So now we just try to learn what exactly is the agriculture income. The agriculture income, the definition of agriculture income has been given in 3 parts under these sections. The first part of the definition of the agriculture income has been given under clause A of subsection 1A of section 2. As per this section, income from leasing out of agriculture land is an agriculture income, and this section has further elaborated, and it says that any rent or revenue which is derived from the land which is situated in India and is used for agriculture purposes is considered to be agriculture income. I will just try to explain what exactly it refers. Here, any rent means the amount of money which has been received by an assessee. The assessee may be the landlord, or he may be a cultivator, or he may be a tenant. So it doesn't matter whether the assessee is a landlord, is the owner of the land or not. If any amount has been received, any amount has been derived from this land, and this is also not a decision that the amount should be in cash, it will be in kind also. So anything, whether in cash or in kind, and that particular amount has been derived from the agriculture land, then it will be deemed to be the agriculture income. Here 3 things are very, very important. Number 1, the income should be derived from the land. Number 2, the land should be situated in India. Number 3, the land should have been used for the agricultural purposes. It means if all these 3 specific conditions are there and the assessee is deriving any amount, whether in cash or in kind, then it will be deemed to be the agriculture income and it will be exempt under tax. So this is the first part of the definition which has been explained by this relevant section. Now we'll see what is the other definition which has been explained by clause B of subsection 1A of section 2 of the Income Tax Act. The second part of the definition is agriculture income is a income from the agriculture operation. Here, if you kindly see, the primary condition to claim exemption under agriculture income is that the land is being used for agriculture purpose. This definition is very, very important. Now, anything which has been received as an income by using the land for agriculture income, that would be exempt under the Income Tax Act. But please mind it, the term agriculture or the agriculture purposes, it has not been defined under the Income Tax Act 1961. So, for the purpose of understanding the meaning of agriculture or agriculture purposes, we'll have to rely on the common meaning of these two words. Moreover, in this connection, we can also be guided by the explanation which has been given by Honorable Supreme Court in one of the leading cases, and the case was, the name of the case was in this leading case, the Supreme Court, the Honorable Supreme Court said that agriculture will constitute two operations. Number one operation is basic operations. Number two is subsequent operations. So if any activity to come within the purview of agriculture activity, you should have two operations. So this is the test of any activity, whether that activity or operation is an agricultural operation or not. So it should satisfy both these two activities, both these two tests. Number one is the basic operations and number two is the subsequent operations. What are the basic operations? Basic operation means for the purpose of having any agricultural produce, a person is required to employ certain basic operations. Means the basic operation may be besides application of human labor or human skill, he is also required to make the land fit for agricultural produce. It means perhaps he will be watering the land. He will be watering the land for agricultural produce. He will be involved, he will be doing that tilling processes. Or he may be leveling the ground. So these are the basic operations. It will be sowing of seeds also. Sowing of seeds, watering the land. It means he is just going to do all such acts so that he can make the land fit for agricultural produce. So these are called the basic operations. After the basic operations, there are certain other operations which are also required to be performed when the agriculture produce has just grown. Means after the agriculture sprouts, agriculture grains the sprouts, there are some other operations which are called subsequent operations. What are those subsequent operations? We just try to have some of the operations. The subsequent operations may be removal of undesirable undergrowth. It may be regular watering of plants. It may use pesticides. It may be cutting, harvesting, threshing. All these operations are called subsequent operations. It means both the operations are required to be performed. If only subsequent operations have been performed by the assessee without undergoing the first type of operations, it cannot be deemed as the agriculture income. It means both the subsequent operations should be performed in conjunction with the basic operations. If a person has just performed subsequent operations without performing the basic operations, then if it has any income, then that income will not be deemed to be the agricultural income. For example, if a person has just purchased the standing crop of a farmer for a particular amount without involving those basic operations, then if he receives any income by sale of that particular crop, it will not be deemed to be the agricultural income in the hands of that trader. However, the farmer who has sold this agriculture crop, standing agriculture crop, that would be deemed to be the agricultural income in his hands. So these are the two tests which will decide whether any activity will constitute the agricultural activity or not. Similarly, if a person has just sold the trees which have just grown spontaneously without application of basic operations by the assessee, and he derives any income out of it, it will not be deemed to be the agricultural income. Number 3, what is more important is, you may also find that it is not essential that in respect of the activities where the use of land or use of soil is not involved, even then they will also be treated as your agriculture activities. Mere fact that any activity involves the use of land or use of soil or any activity which is concerned with the use of land will not mark it as an agriculture activity. For example, the persons who are engaged in animal husbandry or persons who are just engaged in the business of extracting the cream from the milk, or they are concerned with the business of selling the agriculture plants which have been grown by them in a different pots, will not treat this activity as the agriculture activities. So it means sale of spontaneous trees or sale of plants which have been grown by only subsequent operations will not come within the definition of agriculture income, and hence these incomes which have been derived by the assessee will not constitute the agriculture income and shall not be exempted under the Income Tax Act. Moreover, one thing more which is also very important, that it is not always the case that the agricultural operation should result in the food grains which are used for the human being or for the animals. There may also be some cases where the resultant crop is not a food grain. But what is more important is the involvement of these two basic operations, means your basic operations and the subsequent operations. For example, where these two operations are involved, means application of these two operations are involved, and the resultant crop may be your cereals, coffee. We have seen that with a view to regard any activity as an agriculture activity or agriculture operation, there should be two functions, two operations should be performed. One is the basic operation and the other is subsequent operations. So based on these two tests of basic operations and subsequent operations, we can determine whether any agriculture activity which seems to be an agriculture activity is an agriculture activity or operation or agriculture within the meaning of, within the definition of agriculture in the eyes of income tax, is agriculture income or not. So we'll just try to explain this concept a little more by looking at the slides, which gives the various income from various activities which seem to be agriculture activities. So we'll just see and we'll just try to find the explanation whether they are agriculture income or not. For example, just see, if a person is growing coffee, tea, spices through basic and subsequent operations, it will constitute agriculture income. Why it's agricultural income? Because it is involving both the basic operations as well as the subsequent operations. It doesn't matter. It is irrelevant whether the resultant agriculture produce is a food grain or not. Here, the resultant produce is not a food grain, but still it will constitute as an agricultural income. So you can say the assessee who is in the business of growing the coffee or tea or spices or through basic and subsequent operations, this means both the operations have been performed by him, then the income which is derived from these sources would be the agricultural income. That we'll just try to discuss later on, but that would be agricultural income. Similarly, if a person is growing jute, cotton through basic and subsequent operations, it will also constitute to be the agricultural income. Same is the case if a person who is just growing trees and he is just growing different forms of trees, different types of trees for the purpose of using them as a timber, but he is not selling those trees which have just grown spontaneously. Rather, he is performing both the functions, both the operations, means basic operations as well as subsequent operations. If he is just performing the subsequent operations without doing the basic operations, then it will not constitute the agricultural income. If he is performing both the functions, both the operations, then it will be deemed to be the agricultural operations, and the income derived by such assessees from the sale of these trees shall be the agricultural income, and which will be exempted under subsection 1 of section 10 of income tax. So we'll also just try to find more examples, and I'll just give you the explanation for that. Just see what is the agricultural income and what is not. Dividend received from the company doing agricultural activity is not agricultural income. Why it is not agricultural income? Because in this case, the company is engaged in the business of agricultural activities. It means in the hands of the company, the income is agricultural income. But a person who is just getting the income from the company by virtue of his holding the shares, so he is getting the income as a dividend from the company, it cannot be termed to be the agricultural income, because that would be deemed to be the income by virtue of holding his shares. So this income will not be exempted under section 10(1), means under subsection 1 of section 10. However, if this particular person is getting the dividend from any Indian company, then it will be exempt, not as an agricultural income, but it will be exempted under subsection 10 of section 34. Similarly, the share of profit which is received by the partner from a firm, and the firm is engaged in the business of agricultural activities, shall not be the agricultural income in the hands of the partner. However, this particular income shall be exempt in the hands of the partnership firm, but certainly when he derives this profit from the partnership firm, it cannot be constituted to be agricultural income. However, this income which has been received by such partner is otherwise exempt from tax under subsection 2A of section 10. But you can't read it, the exemption, as being the agricultural income. Otherwise, it is exempted. Thirdly, you just see, if a partner receives salary or interest income from the firm, then such salary or interest shall be treated as agricultural income and exempt from the tax. So this is a case where a person, if he is just getting the salary from the salary or interest from the firm, and this firm is engaged in the business of agricultural activities, in such case the salary or the interest which has been received by such partners shall be exempt under the Income Tax Act as it being the agricultural income. Now, this is more important. I mean, these are the activities which seem to be the agricultural activities, but in fact, these are not the agricultural activities. So, I just told you earlier also that it's not important for agricultural activity that it should be connected with the use of land or the use of soil or anything which is having the relationship with land would be agricultural activity. The sole test is the basic operations as well as. So the next part of the income is income from fishery, poultry farming or husbandry, breeding the livestock or making the cheese from the milk or extracting the cream from the milk. These activities, they apparently seem to be the agricultural activities, but in fact these are not agricultural activities due to the reasons that these activities do not involve the application of or the performance of the basic operations and the subsequent operations. So these will not constitute the agricultural income, hence shall not be exempted under the Income Tax Act. Again, the sale of plants which are grown in pots is not an agricultural income. It means a person who is just growing the plants after having done the basic operations performed by somebody else, and he is just performing these secondary operations, then these secondary operations means the sale of plants which he just derives the income by performing the secondary operations will not constitute the agricultural income and hence shall not be exempted under the tax. I just want to take one more example. Particularly, you might have seen that some of the people, they are just engaged in the business of supplying water for irrigation of land. It means they are just regularly supplying the water to the agriculture farmhouses or for the purpose of agriculture operations, and they just earn the income. This income shall also not be deemed to be the agriculture income, though it is income which is related with earning the agriculture income for the farmers. So in this case, it will not be deemed to be the agriculture income. So what is agriculture, what is not agriculture, I just told you, and I just want to give emphasis once again that it should have both the operations, that is the real test whether an activity is an agriculture income or not. The definition is the income from farm building. If an assessee derives any income from the farm building, it is deemed to be an agriculture income. Generally what happens, if a person derives any rent from the building, then the rent derived from such sources is taxed under the head income from house property. Income from house property under section 22. But if a person derives any income from the farm building, it will be deemed to be the agricultural income and shall be exempted from the tax provided certain conditions are fulfilled. What are those conditions? We'll just try to understand those conditions. These conditions are: number one, the building is occupied by the cultivator as landlord or as tenant. It means if the building has been occupied by a cultivator, it is not essential that particular cultivator should be the owner of the land. He can also be the cultivator, he can be a tenant. But the main fact is that this building is occupied by him. He is occupying as a tenant, he will be occupying as a ownership, as a landlord. So first condition is the building should be occupied by the cultivator, who may be or may not be the landlord of that land. Number two, this building should be in the vicinity of land. It means it should be within that vicinity where the land is being used for agriculture purposes. If the building is within the vicinity of this land and the land is being used for agriculture purposes, so this is the second condition. The third condition is this building is used as a dwelling house. It means this building is used for storing something. Storing means storing agriculture produce. If this building is being used for storing agriculture produce and this agriculture produce is a result or is a connection of agriculture operations, then anything which has been received from this building will be deemed to be the agricultural income. So under this definition, income from farm building is also agricultural income provided certain conditions have been fulfilled. Number one, the building should be occupied by the cultivator, and that cultivator may be the landlord. He may be owner of the land or he may be a tenant of the land. Second, this building should be in the vicinity of the land which is being used for the agricultural purposes. Third is this building is used as a dwelling house or a storage for the agricultural purposes. And the last condition is that the building is used as a dwelling house or a storage house by such occupier in connection with the agricultural operations. So if these conditions are fulfilled and any income which has been derived from this farm building shall be deemed to be the agricultural income and shall be exempted under Income Tax Act under subsection 1 of section 10.